Well, joining us now is Gerald Celente, and it's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to talk to Gerald. Actually, a little bit longer than that because we usually do it every other week, but it's been longer now, just before Christmas. And everybody has been dying to hear what Gerald sees coming in terms of trends for 2026. Of course, he doesn't do predictions, but he does trends, and we can infer a lot from the trends if we look at it. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about the economy, we've got so many different wars to pick from. It's like a smorgasbord in terms of commentary. It's not a good thing, but it certainly is a lot to talk about. Trump always does put a lot of stuff on our plate. So without any further ado, Gerald Celente at trendsjournal.com. And just a reminder, if you use the code NIGHT, you can save 10% on a subscription to this, and you can get the stuff right away. You don't have to wait for an interview. You can find out what Gerald thinks the trends are going to be in the next year right there. And it's a wealth of information that comes every week. And with the code, it is very, very affordable. Again, 10% off with the code NIGHT. Thank you for joining us, Gerald. And of course, you've already put out your trends journal for the trends that you see coming up in 2026, right?
Oh, yeah. And by the way, when they put your code in, it costs them the grand total of $2.50 a week.
Wow.
Pennies a day. Pennies.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And go to YouTube and, look at the comments that people have subscribed. I'm not bragging. There's no magazine like it in the world.
That's right.
High tech to AI to socioeconomic, geopolitical, on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a magazine. You read what you want. This week's magazine, by the way, 240 plus pages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly isn't certainly isn't a quiet period of time. That's one thing you can say about Trump.
But
he keeps throwing stuff at us.
Subscribe to AI you don't want to subscribe to the Trends Journal to get the top trends for 2026.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is you want to go to Google and Google the top trends for 2026. And when the magazine came out, this is what AI came up with. You ready?
Yeah. Let's say this.
AI top trends for 2026 point towards a shift from 2025's quiet luxury to quote, loud luxury. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Featuring bold colors, exaggerated embellishments, tassels, and bows. Go AI, go AI. Get stupid like the rest of everybody. No. Hey, Celente, I'm going to go to the Wall Street Journal. No, I'm going to go to the New York Times. Not a word about the top trends of 2026.
Wow.
Barely a peep. This is what happened in 2025.
This is like you might as well go back and watch Paleface with a Bob Hope and say that the trends are going to be buttons and bows this year. That's what we're going to have this year, right?
You got it. The reason they don't do it is simple. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Trends 2000, international best-selling book.
That's right.
Trend tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. Publishing the Trends Journal since 1999. They don't teach trend forecasting at Harvard. They don't teach it at Yale. They don't teach it at Princeton. They don't teach it at Oxford, at Cambridge. They don't know how to do it.
And they don't teach it at OpenAI either. They don't know how to do it. The AI is basically going to plagiarize what other people put out there. They're not thinking; they're just collecting what other people put out. And if the New York Times and other people like that aren't paying attention to it either, you're certainly not going to get it from AI either.
And it's not the New York Times; it's the New York Slimes.
Yeah, that's right.
Get it straight, all right?
That's right. Well, let's talk about the trends coming up. Now, we've had an amazing year for gold and silver. And it kicked off again at the beginning of this year. Already the predictions that we saw from a lot of the different banking institutions and their analysts, that's already back in the rearview mirror. We've already sailed past a lot of those that have been put out there. What do you think is going to happen with gold and silver? And this is the key thing, because instead of predicting a price, I'm looking at gold and silver. I'm not looking at it like some kind of a commodity that's going to be going up and down and up and down. I see this as part of a reset of the financial system. I imagine you do too. How do you see it?
All right. Again, I mentioned the book, Trend Tracking, 1989. I began buying gold in 1978 when the Iranian conflict broke out.
Hmm.
And they taught us to hate Iran without anybody knowing how the CIA and the MI6 government back in 1953, the Mossadegh government, because he said the oil belongs to the Iranian people, not BP or Standard Oil. Back then it was Exxon Standard Oil and Anglo-Iranian oil. He said it belongs to the Iranian people.
Same
So
mistake as Chavez, right, in Venezuela.
yeah, same thing. So what happened, I started buying gold back then.
Uh-huh.
What's going on now has nothing to do back then. Back then, the United States was number one.
Hmm.
China's gross domestic product back in 1978, under $150 billion.
Wow.
And this is a billion people, under 150 billion. Today, when you put the real numbers in, it's way above 20 trillion.
Wow. Wow.
The United States ruled the world back then. Now we have the death of the dollar coming.
Hmm.
Trump wants to lower interest rates. The lower interest rates go, the deeper the dollar falls. The deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go up. Gold, again, Trends Journal subscribers know it as well you do. What was our top trend for 2024?
Gold.
Golden year for gold.
Yeah. Right.
Go to your Trends Journal. All year long, we've been saying going up, and go back to October 16th. My podcast, I said there's going to be a correction in gold. It's going to go down at least $500. It did about a week later.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a correction. Nothing goes straight up or straight down.
Mm-hmm.
But gold is the future because of the geopolitical and socioeconomic uncertainties that have never existed in your lifetime or mine.
Yeah, I agree.
The most dangerous times of our lives. And that's why the precious metals are skyrocketing. On the silver end, and by the way, as we're going on the air today, what is gold selling for? About $4,625 an ounce.
Yeah. And let me say this, just to let the audience know, we're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. And so, the way things are moving very quickly, it looks like we're probably, by the time this airs, we may be at war with Iran. That is what the Jerusalem Post is quoting an Israeli official. And of course, whatever the Israeli officials want, Trump's going to give it to them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the price of gold when that kicks in, Gerald.
Well, here, this is the headline from Haaretz. Report, Trump administration warns Saudis, Gulf countries to prepare U.S. strike on Iran.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, now, when did he strike them the last time? What day? Do you remember? It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
When did he kidnap Maduro? Saturday. He does it when the markets are closed.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a good prediction. So maybe it won't have happened by the time we air this on Friday. So
he does it when the markets are closed.
Yeah.
Because if this happens when the markets are open, whew.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yeah. So
anyway, we're very bullish on this. And silver now, again, going back, you make connections between different fields. Silver, by the way, is being used very heavily in high tech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like, let's say you got a gold ring and you need the dough, you melt down the gold and you go sell the gold ring. Silver, your cell phone breaks, your computer breaks, you throw it away. There's no stockpiles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with the AI, more and more and more and more silver is being used in these chips and everything else. And there are no stockpiles of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing, I mean, what did silver price look like? 100?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's well over 100% this last year. Yeah. But, we're also seeing,
so silver's
we're seeing industrial use is so high that we've had a deficit for 6 years now of silver production versus silver use. And as you point out, people are not recycling it. There's also something on the headline that a lot of people have been pointing to, and that is Samsung has a solid state battery that is superior in every way to the lithium batteries. It charges faster, twice as long life, and it has a much longer range, and it doesn't have the fire issues, all these things, except it's more pricey because it's got a lot of silver in it. And if that catches on, I mean, I could almost see the U.S. government mandating it because of the fire hazards with the lithium stuff. But if that catches on, that's going to be a huge sink for silver, isn't it?
Yes. And again, think about it. Where's Samsung? What country are they from?
Yeah, that's right. South Korea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asian.
Mm-hmm.
The Asian country is going to take over AI.
Yeah.
China's going to lead the world in it. And there's going to be a dot-com bust. They overinvested in these companies. That's one of our top trends for 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age. You don't invest in the companies that are infants that were just born in 2022. Let's go back a year ago, a year ago in a week. There was a bust called when NVIDIA stock lost $600 billion in one day when a company called DeepSeek came out from China.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
That's
heard
right.
about that. Yeah. Again, you don't invest all your dough in the companies that are just born. China's going to lead the world in AI. I've said we've done it before. I mentioned to you before Slick Willie Clinton brought them into the World Trade Organization 25 years ago, 10% of Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. Today, nearly 70%. And they're AI high-tech addicted.
Mm-hmm.
And China's dumping hundreds of billions of dollars into AI. Again, it's the future. Love it, hate it, want it, don't want it. It's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see a dot-com bust if or when the United States and Israel attack Iran. You're going to see Brent crude go over $100 a barrel. That's going to sink the global economy, the equity markets, and get ready for the greatest depression.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, when all else fails, they take you to war. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. I doodle to a guy.
Well,
Right?
while we're on the economy and gold, as you've always said, that Trump is very good for gold, and now it looks like he wants to be a one-man Federal Reserve. Instead of ending the Federal Reserve, instead of auditing the Federal Reserve, he wants to get rid of Jerome Powell, so he's going to audit the Federal Reserve building. They're not going to audit the gold that's in Fort Knox, but he's going to take it over. He's got some ideas of what he's going to do to manipulate interest rates and his own version of quantitative easing. That's going to also stoke gold, isn't it?
Yep. And by the way, I think Trump is going to be golden for gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, let's go back to February of last year. Hey. Me and me, we're going to go to Fort Knox, all right? All right. All right. Hey, Gatson, how come you didn't go there?
Mm-hmm.
They go there. They know what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
They know what's in there. They're going to come out with this story. By the way, according to the data, the United States has more gold than anybody else in the world.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe that China has hidden a lot of their stuff. What do you think?
They'll say, make up a number.
Mm-hmm.
And we're raising the price of gold.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones that set the price and we're changing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now gold is going to be worth $10,000 an ounce. And we just wiped out our $38 trillion budget deficit. So 2 days a year. They'll make up some crap, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gold is it, man. Gold, again, there's going to be a correction. Nothing goes straight up or straight down.
Sure.
Again, you go October 16th, trends. I did a podcast. I said there'd be a correction in gold. It could go down $500 an ounce. 5 days later, it went down $500 an ounce.
Yeah.
So nothing goes straight up or straight down, but this gold and silver, it's the commodity.
It is the trend. Yeah, it is the trend, isn't it? Well, let's talk a little bit about Iran. And of course, things could change very, very quickly in the next 24, 36 hours. But you believe that it's really going to send a shockwave through the oil industry, create a depression, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If the prices go up above 100, as we're talking now, Brent crude is about $65 and change a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, this time it was about $80 a barrel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
It goes over $100 a barrel. You're going to see inflation go way up.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there's more supply than demand. That's why the prices are so low.
Mm-hmm.
And more supply than demand means the whole economy is on slowdown.
Mm-hmm.
To spike above $100 a barrel, you're going to see an equity market crash.
Mm. Yeah. Well, again, when we look at this, with all the oil that is in Venezuela, Trump had a meeting last week, and he had these different oil company executives in, and the Exxon CEO said he thought that Venezuela was uninvestable. And right after that, Trump says, well, he's out. He's not going to get. So it is actually uninvestable for his company, I guess. But when you look at it, not factoring in what the shock to the oil system that an Iran war is going to do, but when you look at where we are right now, without that being there, what incentive would the oil companies have to go in there and put a glut of oil on the market? They don't want to see the price go down. This might be more of an incentive for them to get invested in Venezuela, but it's still a long time to get this infrastructure to where it's productive again, right? What do you think about that in terms of the oil aspect?
But again, times change. And economies go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said about Trump throwing a guy from Exxon out.
Mm-hmm.
This is Trump last week in the New York Times. They asked him if there were any limits on his global powers.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Trump said, quote, yeah. Yeah. There is one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that could stop me. I don't need international law. All right, let's stop.
Yeah.
My own mind? How about what somebody else? What the hell are you talking about what someone else is thinking? Only my mind counts.
Yeah, that's right.
I know everything.
Yeah.
As you know, I taught close combat for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And you come by the guy who used to write for the magazine, may rest in peace, Bradley Steiner,
Mm-hmm.
top close combat guy in America, who taught my teacher, John Perkins. The first thing, number one, that we learned in close combat, the only time you use your ego is when your life is on the line.
Mm.
That's my ego. Don't mess with me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is pure ego when he says that only his mind counts. What other people, facts, data show, that doesn't count at all. It's only my mind. It's pure ego.
Yeah.
Pure
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah. The ego has landed. That's basically
Perfectly said.
It's amazing. And what is amazing to me is so many people that can't or won't see that and just how dangerous that is. Yeah, it truly is amazing. Well, when we look at this, there's another aspect of the Iranian thing, which you've talked about in the past as well, Gen Z revolt. And so there's been a massive revolt that's there. And I looked at this and I thought, why in the world would anybody in their right mind, assuming that they had a mind, why would you interfere with that, right? If he interferes with this, of course, that's going to only help the Ayatollah because, as you pointed out over and over again, when people have, and we've seen this throughout history, many times in our lives, we've seen that, governments will take people to war because things are difficult domestically and they get people's minds off it. We saw it with Israel and Netanyahu, right? Take them to war because he's struggling politically in his own country. And so if somebody is struggling politically in their own country, they want to have a war. Why would Trump give that to them if he had any inkling of a strategy?
Why would you ask that question?
It's a rhetorical question, isn't it?
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it the same person saying? I mean, let's go back to Gen Z revolution. First of all, you mentioned about Netanyahu. Everybody forgets there were 39 weeks of protests going on in Israel before the Hamas attack.
Yeah.
Because of Trump, Netanyahu, Greenberg, iceberg, what's the difference? Anyway, Netanyahu wanted to do away with the court system and say the government was in control. There were 39 weeks of protest because of his Judicial Reform Act. Not my language, the language from Isaac Herzog, president of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
There's a civil war going on. There was a civil war going on.
Mm-hmm.
Hamas attacks, everybody forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back, Haaretz, the Israel, again, we only write the facts. Everybody forgot this. 3 days after the attack, it was reported that the United States and Egypt had warned Israel the attack was coming. And Haaretz and other newspapers have since reported they all knew it was coming. They let it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Got the people's mind off it.
That's right.
So again, when all else fails, they take you to war. And the global economies are failing. The United States economy, again, AI is responsible for 50% of last year's gross domestic product.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
10% of Americans are responsible for 50% of the spending last year. Top 10% of Americans own 93% of the stock market. The rest of the 90% owns 7%. 7%.
Wow.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The rich own everything.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, the top 10 billionaires in America, they only got $700 billion richer.
Mm.
The job reports, look at the jobs that are created. Look at the numbers. Health services, paying nothing. Because, again, I'm the baby boom generation. I'm the same age as Trump. So if I fall asleep, I'm the same age. I mentioned that little clown boy, Jake Crapper,
Yeah.
on CNN. You know what he said?
What did he say?
See, I get his exact quote here. If I can't find it, I'll tell you what it was. Here it is. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's 79 years old. I mean, like, that's not abnormal for a 79-year-old to be sleepy. Hey, scumbag! F you! Don't you talk to me like that! I don't eat shit! All right? I'm in good... I'm 79! Well, we had an interview with Celente, but it's not abnormal for a 79-year-old. All right? That's the crap. So don't subscribe to the Trends Journal. Go to the Cartoon News Network and swallow crap. From Jake Crapper. A little piece of crap to put that kind of shit out there. Disgusting.
Yeah.
How dare you say that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, getting back to the Gen Z stuff.
By the way, people don't like my language. Hey, what did Trump do to that guy the other day?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Guy that called him about we wouldn't put out the Epstein files?
Pedophile protector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did Trump say?
Yeah. He nailed it too. That's exactly the truth hurt, didn't it? Well, yeah, Trump said F you, yeah. And he shoots him a bird, right? Yeah.
And then gave him the finger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Celente, now you can't do that. He's the president. He can do anything he wants. And I'm a little gutless little clown, and I suck up to him like I suck up to... Oh, we go suck up? Hey, remember Genocide Joe? I forgot about him. You were about Iran before, and I forgot this. After the Iranian Revolution, the Iranian economy was growing nicely. They were doing great. And then all of a sudden, the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama, put sanctions on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner quoted in the book Double Down, I'm really good at killing people. You're really good at killing people, you little skinny prick. I don't want to use the right word. I don't want to be censored.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag. What do you mean? Killing people.
Yeah.
Killed over 20,000 people with drones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He put sanctions on Iran. Then he made a deal with them when they signed that agreement not to build the nuclear things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Trump gets into office and he puts more sanctions on them. And more sanctions and more sanctions and more sanctions and more sanctions. That's why because he's a puppet of Israel.
Yeah.
Is Obama. Obama's the guy that gave the deal that steals about $3.6 billion of our money each year to give to Israel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They call it taxes. It ain't taxes, it's thievery. Anyway, going back, so then Trump put more and more sanctions on them, so the country's going bust. That's why a Gen Z revolution, one of our top trends.
Mm-hmm.
It broke. Again, we talked about this. That little boy of nobody ever heard of. Again, not what you like, what you want, what you wish for. This little nothing of a kid, Mandani, in New York City. Biggest city in New York. And I'm a Bronx guy, no New York. Beep, 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 up, up. I got a little nobody here that nobody ever heard of. How come? Gen Z. Yeah. 14 to 29-year-olds. Or the 18 to 29-year-olds were the biggest turnout in the primaries that beat little Andy Cuomo, another arrogant piece of scum. What was the biggest turnout in the election? Millennials and Gen Z. They got no jobs. Oh, a couple of weeks ago, hey, they overthrew a government in a place called Bulgaria. Who did it? Gen Z. What happened in Nepal? Gen Z. Hey, how about Tanzania? Gen Z. Oh, Kenya? Gen Z. Indonesia. France? Gen Z. Morocco, Madagascar, Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, taking the streets. They're broke, they're busted because the billionaires own everything.
Yeah, that's right. As you said many times, when they lose it, they lose it. They lose everything, they lose it. And that's what we're saying all around the world.
Nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it. They got no future.
You know, the other thing that really struck me this week when I saw the picture of what's going on in Iran, of course, there's been a lot of violence there. And I'm just going to pull this up here, and you can get us back there, Lance, when we do this. But this is a picture. Yeah, I know you can't see it, Gerald, but this is a picture of the Iranian police, riot police. They look exactly like ICE. They got full militarized helmets and all the rest of the stuff. Of course, their faces are masked as well. All black uniforms. That's what we see over and over again. And yeah.
Look what they're doing to these people in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right.
Look what they did to that woman, blowing her brains out. Look what they did to you. See the other one that came out pulling that woman out of the car like that?
Yeah.
Men don't do that. Real men don't act like that against the woman.
I agree. And don't you believe that this is...
men don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. Don't you believe that this is deliberate provocation? They want a civil war. Don't you think that's my take on it? You don't think so?
Crazy people.
Yeah. I just think that when I look at this, it is so over the top. And of course, we've gotten to the point where, and you look at the aftermath of that shooting with Renee Good, and of course, Trump and like I said, they didn't even try to think of, well, let's think of some way that we can spin this. They just made stuff up. Like Christine Ohm said, yeah, they were stuck in the snow. And as they're trying to get out, she attacks them with her car. They didn't bother to look at it. You know, when Trump was shown the video from by some New York Times reporters in the Oval Office, he was speechless, and he changed the topic. They don't even care whether or not you know that they're lying anymore. They just lie to your face. That's why I believe that it's a deliberate provocation. They would love to have a war between these two tribes. And if you look at social media, I mean, the hatred that I see that has been engendered by this is just unbelievable. If you gave both these sides a lot of guns and go after them, they would gleefully kill each other right now. They don't need any more provocation.
Yep. You're 100% right. You know, I'm looking for something here you said about Trump lying. Trying to lie. How dare you call him a liar? My resolution, peace on earth. I'm the most anti-war president in history. How dare you call him a liar? September 25th, when he's running for office, 2024. We want to have peace on earth all over. How dare you call him a liar? I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. October 20th, 2024. Wow. All right? All right? Lying in front of your face. Lying in front of your face.
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know, when you look at this, where do you think things go from Venezuela? I mean, we've had a moment now where everybody is celebrating him and, oh, what a genius move this is. It seems to me very much like George W. Bush getting on the aircraft carrier and saying, this is it, this is taking his victory lap. I think there's a long way to go before he can claim any kind of a victory. What do you think in Venezuela? How do you see this moving forward?
It's a wild card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting that he's, the line that they're taking, because they don't want to say that they arrested a head of state somewhere and kidnapped him. So what they're saying is he didn't win the election legitimately. And it's like, okay, so who did you say won the election legitimately? The Machado woman or the Gonzalez guy? They kept her off the ballot. She looked like she was going to win, but they kept her off the ballot. And so the Western Observer said, we think Gonzalez won and Maduro stole it. So why don't you put those people in? If you think Gonzalez won it, why don't you make him the president? Why don't you make Machado the president? Of course, that is also a rhetorical question, isn't it?
You use the word kidnap.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is why people subscribe to the Trends Journal. You're not allowed to use that word. All the Western media, they never use the word kidnap. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
BBC has again come under scrutiny. This is from The Guardian. After it released that staff were instructed to avoid using the word kidnapped when reporting on the U.S. forcibly seizing Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. The BBC instructions were disclosed by The Guardian, and BBC journalists have been banned from describing the kidnapped Venezuelan leader as having been kidnapped. A screenshot of what the BBC told reporters, quote, to ensure clarity and consistency in our reporting, please follow these guidelines when describing the recent events in Venezuela. Under guidance, captured is to be attributed to the U.S. description of the operation, as in, quote, the U.S. said Maduro was captured during the operation. The word seized is described as acceptable for use in our reporting when appropriate, while journalists must avoid using the term, quote, kidnap.
I didn't get that memo. I'm still waiting for them to CC me on that, I guess. So I've been calling it kidnapping the entire time.
I'm saying, when I say to you that there's no magazine like what we're doing, we don't. Nobody tells us what to do. We have no advertisers.
Yeah.
Nobody tells us what to do. Media's gone. It's dead.
And that's really surprising, too, because, the BBC, the fact that they would grovel before the U.S. government like that, even as Trump is suing them for what, $10 billion? Is that what the ridiculous
That's
amount
why
is?
they're doing.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
BBC, yeah. BS crap.
So what do you think is going to happen? He's also made some noise about Colombia and Cuba, even though he said Cuba was not going to, they were going to bring them to their knees by making sure they didn't get any oil from Venezuela. Then they went in and said, okay, well, Mexico can sell them oil. I mean, there's such confusion. It's almost, they don't know what they're doing, do they? From one day, it's almost like the tariffs. How do you read that?
You just said it's like the tariffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every day he changes his mind.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind. What mind? Oh, my mind is the only mind that counts. What's wrong with you? I just said it over here, right? My mind.
Yeah, his mind and his morality is what Jon Stewart said. So, in other words, nothing. We don't have any morality. We don't have any mind.
Yeah, how about mind your own business?
Yeah, that's the mind, right? Let's talk a little bit about Greenland, of all things. What is going on with Greenland? Why do you think they're so desperate? I mean,
it's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can see with it, certainly, they got resources, but how do you get to them? Defense, I mean, he's got a treaty and they've had military bases there. And in the past, they've had up to 10,000 troops right after World War II. They've only got a couple of hundred now, but they still have that treaty. What do you think is going to happen with this stuff? What do you think it's going to do with NATO and that type of thing? I look at it, my guess is, Gerald, I think they're just going to move a massive number of troops there and say, hey, we got a right to do this based on the treaty. I could see them just occupying Greenland. What do you think?
I don't know what a crazy person is going to do.
Do you think he's going to put on a uniform and start prancing around like Napoleon or something? Or what is that one? Is that in the cards for 2026?
Big enough for them.
That's right. Well, yeah, they would, little general in a different way, right? Ukraine. What do you think is going to happen with Ukraine?
Again, we said it on and over and over. We said that, remember all the crap, again, from the mainstream media? Mm-hmm. Out the BS from the Trump administration that was a peace deal was right at hand. Mm-hmm. How many times do we hear that?
Yeah.
It's very simple. We said it from the beginning. First, we said that go back to your Trends Journal back in February of 2022 when the war began.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that Ukraine could defeat Russia.
That's right.
Napoleon, you mentioned Napoleon. What he left Poland with 410,000 troops to attack Moscow, came back with 10,000.
Yeah.
Operation Barbarossa, Germany, they killed 27 million Russians. Who were the first ones to beat the Germans?
Yeah.
Russians.
That's right.
So there's no way they're going to beat them. So then when Russia started launching the attack, even back in the early days, they got like 20% of the land. We said, they're not going to give this back.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? Oh, remember that other clown, that other arrogant fat boy, Lloyd Austin? Remember him?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The head of the Defense Department. Now it's the Department of War. I forgot. Remember they're going to have that, what would they call that thing? The counteroffensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody forgot about the counteroffensive. The crap that they were selling. There's going to be a huge counteroffensive as slimeball Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State. I went to Dalton. I went to Harvard. My daddy was the ambassador of Hungary. My uncle was the ambassador of Belgium. I'm just an arrogant piece of scum. Yeah, that guy stole what, about $300 billion of our money?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? Counteroffensive?
Mm-hmm.
Totally lost, totally forgotten. And what happened with it? Russia took more land. They're not going to give back what they got. End of story. People don't know, but of course, and we've done this 1,000 times with you in our Trends Journal back in 2014, how happy that guy is, United States overthrow with a democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych in Ukraine back then. But anyway, so now here's the deal. Why did they attack? Oh, the Azovs, the Nazi Ukrainian government. How many Russian people they killed in the Donbass region? Over 15,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, Ukraine was part of Russia until Khrushchev, who's Ukrainian, said it's a separate entity, but it's still within the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, the Eastern Europe part of Ukraine is Russian. And it was slaughtering the Russian people. So here's the deal. There ain't going to be no deal.
Mm-hmm.
Russia is not going to give up what it has. So there's going to be a false flag event that's going to unify Europe to try to attack Russia. They've done it before. They'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, only the facts. Another piece of scum crap over there, your chancellor over there in Germany, Moitz. Oh, the BlackRock guy. Yeah, that clown. Borrowing Germany, third largest economy in the world, in a recession for 2 years. Numbers haven't come out yet for 2025, but the estimate is it'll grow by 0.2%. 3 years of recession. They're borrowing $1 trillion to build up their defense and our infrastructure so they can hold the tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, France, UK, one country after another in Europe building up their militaries.
Yeah.
One after another.
And giving warnings about how you got to get the hospital set up so you can take in a lot of casualties. And of course, they have been at war with their own people over the green agenda. They have destroyed the industrialized base. So now let's repurpose it to making military equipment, and let's get the people fighting a different enemy than us. And so I agree with you. I think it's going to be, it was NATO that pushed this thing from the very beginning and pushed into there, did the coup and all the rest of the stuff. I remember when the UK defense minister said at the beginning of this stuff, he said, "We beat the Russians once in Crimea, we'll beat them again." I said at the time, so why were the Russians in Crimea a couple of 100 years ago, right, during the Crimean War in the late 1800s? So, why 150 years ago, I guess, why were the Russians in Crimea 150 years ago? Because the Russians were in Crimea for 400 years.
Yeah, and what the hell are the British doing over there?
Exactly.
Exactly. I forgot. The sun never sets on the British Empire.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, shove that word king up your you know what.
Yeah.
If you're an Italian, if they were Italian, you'd call them a mafia. Murderous, murderous, murderous scum.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think there'll be a false flag or something that's going to be driven by the European side. And, of course, they're very eager to put boots on the ground. Already the UK Prime Minister said we're going to get boots on the ground. They're trying to drag us into it with a security guarantee. What do you think about that? Do you think that the U.S. will do that? I mean, there'll be a political cost for Trump to do that.
Yeah, I think the United States will join it.
Yeah.
Again, NATO, the deal made between Gorbachev and Bush Sr., James Baker at the time, quote, NATO will not move 1 inch further.
Mm-hmm.
16 NATO countries then, now there are 32.
Yeah.
So if we had the Russians up here in Canada, 4.5 hours from me, and the Chinese down in Mexico, America would be fine with that, wouldn't they?
That's one of the interesting things I think about Greenland is this, Trump is really getting Denmark and a lot of other countries upset about this. That's about the only silver lining I see in this is that it's a chaos and division within NATO over this Greenland thing.
What the hell is Denmark doing in Greenland?
Yeah, I think some of the Greenland people have said that as well.
How about Greenland just being Greenland and get the hell out of it?
That's right. Yeah, well, they have said that over and over again. They've said that they don't want to be under the U.S. or under Denmark, but even more so not under the U.S. and, the bribes that they're offering them and all the rest of this stuff. So let's take a look at the domestic stuff because, again, it's probably not going to be too much longer before we get the Supreme Court decision that's going to say whether or not Trump has to give back the tariffs that he put in arbitrarily on everybody. And he's talking about how that's going to be a real mess, and so he can't really undo what he just arbitrarily did. What do you think the economic consequences are going to be if that happens? Because it does lean towards that.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I don't think it'll make much of a difference on that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the tariffs haven't caused the inflation, according to the data that they anticipated it would be. And it's But by the way, you mentioned something before. I want to go back to it. You mentioned about I forgot the exact phrase that you used about Europe's deindustrialization or something. How did you say it?
Yeah, they've gone to war with their own people and deindustrialized it.
Yeah,
the base.
Yeah. Who deindustrialized it? This is the guy. Not them.
Slick Willie, huh?
Brought China into the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
25 years ago. What happened? All these Western companies that went over there to get cheap labor gave China all the high tech and heavy industry capabilities they never had.
Mm-hmm.
And now, these are the Chinese. They're not stupid people. Now, who's the leader in EVs? BYD.
Yeah.
As I said, who's going to lead the world in AI? China. They did it for that. So go back, again, only by the facts. You go back to 2001 to like 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
There's Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Ford, GM.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling cars like crazy. Their profits are skyrocketing. And then what happened? We don't need you anymore.
Yeah,
that's right. Everything we ever had. And now we got more than you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
And then when you look at the Paris Climate Accord, they didn't just give them the heavy industry. They also gave them the energy monopoly. I mean, they have access to cheap, affordable energy that nobody in Western Europe has. The UK, when I say they're deindustrializing them, I mean, they're really just going through and ripping everything out, shutting down all their coal plants, even shutting down the plants that can make steel because, hey, it's going to destroy the world. We have CO2 and that type of thing. And yet nobody cares if it's done in China or if it's done in India. They only care about the CO2 if it's coming out of the US or the EU. China
is doing all they can right now to make it cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
particularly with these EVs. And that is out there, what they're doing in so many different ways. I mean, they're the solar capital of the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to get off this. And by the way,
Well, they're
again,
making the solar panels by burning coal from North Korea.
what I'm saying, they're coming up with new technologies that they're investing in,
Yeah, that's right.
trying
That's
to
right.
do it. They're doing
And going to an EV, that was something that right away, we had such a lead on them. All the industrialized countries of the West had such a lead on them in terms of internal combustion engines, and then that was just thrown out the window. Okay, now everybody's going to have batteries and motors, and so it's very easy to catch up on that type of thing, isn't it?
and they're gonna. I'm telling you, I read this stuff, man. They're investing very heavily in alternative energies and
Mm-hmm.
again, by the facts, they're EV crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
They're doing away with combustion engines.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yeah, again, I'm 4.5 hours if I drive to Montreal from here. Take Amtrak. You know how long it takes? Right across the river, Rhinecliff.
Mm-hmm.
From Rhinecliff to Montreal by train, 10 hours. Oh,
Yeah.
no, my friend just went there.
Yeah.
Back and forth, 10 hours each way.
Yeah.
Take the subway in New York. How about a night in Calcutta? Filthy, dirty, ancient crap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go to China. How about the high-speed rail? Like about 250 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going clean as they could. They're trying. We're not doing anything.
That's
We're
right.
going.
That's right. That's right.
We're going backwards. Again, the 20th century, I say, was the American century, but unfortunately, the 21st century is going to be the Chinese century.
Yeah.
Because the business of America is war.
That's right.
And the China's business.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, go back to February last year, right? All right. I'm on CNBC says, yeah, the defense sector market went way down because President Trump said he was going to cut the military budget by $50 billion, $500 billion. He was going to. That was last February. Oh, what did he say last week?
Yeah.
Put another 500 billion into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just had a record all-time high of $1 trillion. Hit that for the first time. Then right away it turns around. Let's make it $1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
Let's increase it by 50%. Yeah.
What did he say last February?
Yeah. Right.
Again, how can he lies in front of your eyes, and they hate me for calling him out as lies. I'm scared. I got to tell you. Will ICE come in here and kill me, or have somebody there kill me?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. ICE has become I think they're gearing it up for a secret police surveillance state. Because you look at their budget, and $28.5 billion, and it would be the 14th largest military in the world if it was a separate country. Their military is between Ukraine and Israel in terms of the amount of money that they have. And what are they doing with the money? Not just hiring, they're getting a lot of surveillance technology to surveil everybody everywhere. And yet they don't want you to see their face. Boy, if you take a cell phone video of them, they want to beat you and kill you.
Oh, you see the pictures of what they're doing to people.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just saw where they punched this kid, throw him out into the street. He didn't do anything. He's taking a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, it's terrible what's going on. And there's going to be, it's only going to get worse. Again, it's going to be the total surveillance state.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know what you did, where you did, what you did. It's going to be, I want to move on to something else, by the way.
Sure, yeah.
The bank stocks are going down as we're talking. You know that I've called an office building bust.
Mm-hmm.
When they locked down COVID, everything changed. Everything changed. Here, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this is my data. This is WDRB. They say that Central Business District in Louisville, vacancy rate, 40%.
Wow.
Louisville.
Wow.
How about Chicago? 28%. 27 and change. Denver, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, all in the high 20%, 30% range. Vacant. Vacant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say my firm owns the building and leases. Remember, the COVID war happened in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Leases are 5 and 10-year leases. Now, this is 6 years later. Leases have been up. Ain't renewing, man. Don't need all this space.
Mm-hmm.
My work at home 3 days a week. I had them in little cubicles, never saw them anyway. You don't need them here. Come in a couple of days a week. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to pay their mortgages, their loans? They're not. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this repo is going on. They're dumping hundreds of billions of dollars so the banksters could borrow money for free because they ain't got the dough. There's going to be failures. The banks are not going to be able to cover these losses. In ancient history, 3 years ago, Conman Valley Bank, First Republic, and what was the other one? First Republic, and there was another one that went bust.
I think the third one, they were still solvent, but they kind of forced them out because they didn't like the crypto stuff that was there, right?
Anyway,
I'm trying to remember, yeah.
3 banks, boom, down went
Yeah.
the equity and up went gold prices.
Mm-hmm.
First Republic, that was it. First Republic, Signature, and Silicon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3 banks, boom. Markets are crashing, gold prices are spiking. That was 3 banks. It's going to be 30 banks.
Yeah.
We're going to see failures. Again, the data is all there. Yep. U.S. cities where central business districts office vacancies rates are low. They got it right here. And it's one after another. The average is over 20%.
And, you talk about that 3 banks going down and how it spooked the markets and everything. And I'm looking at this back and forth with Trump, and everybody said, "Oh, we want Fed independence," and all this. It's like, yeah, I want it too. I want to be independent of them, but that's not in the cards. But nevertheless, once Trump starts to make his moves, and of course he's doing some of his own quantitative easing, he wants to manipulate interest rates and all the rest of the stuff. It's going to spook the marketplace, I think, and I think it'll happen very quickly, the reactions to it, because people are going to calculate that. They're not going to wait for it to trickle through. It's going to be right away. People are going to react to that. And of course, that's going to impact gold, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you ready? This is according to Moody's. Dayton, Ohio, vacancy rate, 37.5%. Their number in Dallas, Texas, 34.4%. St. Louis, 33%. San Antonio, 31.4%. Las Vegas, 30.7%.
Wow.
Again, homeless everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Crime, it's the way of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get worse if we don't have peace on earth. And again, my money where my mouth is. I launched Occupy Peace. You were kind enough to come up here. My wife and son, and speaking here.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't unite, these billionaires, if they gave us $1 billion apiece, we'd have it tomorrow. You can't do it without the dough. And if we don't have peace on earth, it's going to be hell on earth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've been saying for a while that this is going to be leading to, what was dialed in with the fake pandemic was a greater depression, as well as dragflation that even anticipated that, prior to that, because of all the phony manipulations by the Federal Reserve on quantitative easing and everything. They had dialed in stagflation, but you called it dragflation because it wasn't just going to go stagnant. It was going to go down quite a bit. But then with all the commercial real estate issues because of lockdown and how things changed along with that, a greater depression that is in the works here. And so is there any good news that you see?
No, I don't see any good news at all.
Yeah.
None. The only thing to me, by the way, that'll change is a renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
We have to bring back the spirit of what this country used to be. When the Black Plague happened and some 60% of Europe was wiped out because of the filthy sanitation, and the Renaissance began in the late 1300s, they used to say alla Romana et all'antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, to describe the quality of their work.
Mm-hmm.
But it And without the Medicis, the banksters of the day that made it happen. Facts don't mean anything to people. We have to bring up the spirit of what this country was and why people all over the world wanted to come here at one time. It was the land of opportunity. And now the bigs own everything.
That's right. That's right.
Again, when you and I were young guys, I've said this 1,000 times. There were hardware stores, stationery stores, drug stores, shoe stores, clothing stores, fish stores. Everything now is a chain.
Yeah.
Goes back to Gen Z revolution. What future?
Yeah.
What future they have?
That's right.
So Renaissance, to me, is the only way it'll change. Facts don't mean anything to people. We bring back the music style and spirit of this country. Again, you know, one of my books, and you could get this on going to Trends Journal, my favorite book, What Zitzi Gave Honey Boy. And Zitzi is the Neapolitan dialect for auntie. And Honey Boy, she used to call me. And that's the picture, I don't know if you could see that, of my parents' wedding.
Yeah, I see that.
1934. My father worked in a fish store. They worked in factories. The Gates, the Buffetts, the Bezos, the Musks, the Zuckerbergs, but couldn't come close to what these people look like.
Yeah.
The way they used to dress, the style. You look at the pictures of what during the Great Depression and people online looking for food. Look at the way they're dressed. Look at the style this country used to have. And now it's turned to crap.
That's right.
People dress like crap, look like crap, and eat crap. Oh, don't believe me? What does the president eat? Going to McDonald's.
Yeah. You know, Gerald, when you're talking about that, I thought about you when Sean Duffy was lecturing everybody just before the holidays saying, have some respect. You know, the way people are dressing when they get on a plane, it's like, shut up. I mean, you're the one who's forcing us to take off all of our clothes to get on a plane. You're the one who's taking away all of our self-respect, our freedom, our dignity. You know, those things are tied together. B.F. Skinner understood that. He wrote a book called Beyond Freedom and Dignity, and it was about psychological manipulation. That's what they've been doing to us. They want to destroy our dignity so they can destroy our freedom.
Exactly. I hate traveling anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want traveling. Again, before I forget, you talked about ICE and how much their budget is. Who created it?
I don't know. Who created ICE? I don't know.
Homeland Security?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Is that part of Homeland Security? But yeah.
Little George Bush after 9/11.
That's right.
Yep. And 90% of the people swallowed the crap coming out of that little boy with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball. If you ask any at all, we're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden. Get him.
Did you see what Kristi Noem did this week? She had a press conference there at Homeland Security, and they had on the podium, one of ours, all of theirs. And everybody pointed out, well, you know, that's kind of the motto of the Nazis when they wiped out that city in Czechoslovakia after the assassination of Heydrich. And, you know, it's amazing. They're just right in your face about this stuff.
Man, look what they did. 90% of the people, they stole how many trillions of dollars to kill the couple 100,000 Afghan people?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the longest war in American history that nobody talks about? The slime, they have weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Total lie.
Yeah.
People bought it.
And, you know, Trump said it was a lie, didn't he? You know, when he was running for president. And then when he becomes president, he takes the woman who did the torture, who covered up for the torture and then sold the lie in Washington, Gina Haspel. He made her the head of the CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It is really amazing.
As I say, it's a freak show and the freaks are running the show.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's going to be an interesting year, as the Chinese say, you know, it may live in interesting times or whatever. The crisis and opportunity, that is danger and opportunity. That's really the definition of crisis, isn't it? I think it's going to be a crisis year.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already in front of us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like it's already been a year and it's just a couple of weeks into it. It's moving really, really fast.
And again, if you want the Trends Journal, we have our top trends, 12 of them for 2026, and they're coming true already.
Yeah.
And so if you want to read history before it happens, and again, you go to you put that link in there, it's the grand total of $2.50 a week, pennies a day.
Yeah. Is there anything, I kind of drove this in terms of the economy and war, but any other trends that we didn't talk about that you see on the head coming up? You said 12 different
Yeah,
trends.
one of them that people aren't talking about is this techitis. The young people are totally messed up with this, and it's only going to get worse. Little infants, on their things, and
Mm-hmm.
human spirit is being lost, and we have
Oh,
to
I
change.
agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
like an inflammation, isn't it?
yeah,
It really is. I like that techitis. That's a good description of it. Yeah.
and again, unfortunately, it's going to be also off with their heads 2.0. You're going to see a lot more revolutions going on around the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, the rich own everything. And again, you look at the data from Oxfam, how rich they got when they locked down the world.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Billionaires got trillions and trillions of dollars richer as we all went down.
Yeah.
And again, who's that guy that had Twitter? What was that guy?
Jack Dorsey.
Yep, he was one of the first to lock down. He was supposed to go to South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first to lock down, the geeks. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, did their business boom when they started to Zoom. How everything changed. Their businesses boomed.
Yeah.
Lockdowns. They were the first ones to lock down. And everybody forgets the data. We wrote about it as it happened. You know where COVID landed first?
Where's that?
Kirkland, Washington, at a nursing home.
Yeah.
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 At a nursing home. Kirkland, Washington. Oh, and again, remember Seattle was booming back then?
Mm-hmm.
And how much your office vacancy rate there? And how about San Francisco? Yeah. You left your heart in San Francisco? You better not have any money. They're going to steal it from you. Look what a crap hole it's turned into.
Yeah.
The geeks did it. Look at them. The guy said they got this wrong in the King James Bible when they said the meek shall inherit the earth. The geeks have inherited the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And this year, I predict, a lot of people predicted that Musk will become the first trillionaire. He's not too far away from it already, and he's got a big stock offering that's going to be coming out with SpaceX.
Yep.
And I imagine that'll put him over the top.
Not a penny for peace.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
hey, remember, we didn't see each other since Christmas time. We were all these religions that talked about the Prince of Peace.
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot. Hey, had a Christmas sale still. All right, I forgot. Okay. Hey, all right.
Yeah. They don't call it Black Friday for nothing. It's like a black mass, It's
I want White Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, Gerald. It's always great to talk to you, and let's hope that that something changes. But certainly, the trends are. You're right on top. The trends are looking bad, but it's something that we need to keep an eye on for our own purposes. And about one of the few things that we can do, I think, is to try to protect ourselves and what little wealth we've got in terms of trying to get into gold as much as we can. That's about the only play that's left for the little guy, I think, isn't it?
Well, again, we don't give financial advice, but the little guys, that's why you're seeing silver prices spike.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They call that the poor man's gold. That's another reason it's driving it up.
That's right. Yeah. Even in India, I mean, they were able to buy massive quantities of silver, so much that they created shortages with that. So thank you so much, Gerald. And let's hope that maybe things will turn in a different way. But hope is not a strategy, is it? It's we can
certainly second word in the metaphysical dictionary because it wants something to happen without doing anything to make it happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
please do what you can do in a positive way.
Yeah.
And best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Spiritually, especially. Yeah.
Authority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams. And I'm on that trip.
That's right. And it is really the spiritual foundation that we have lost, wanting to have this happen. And of course, our connection to God. Thank you so much, Gerald. And thank you for coming on. It's always great talking to you. And it's been too long since we've talked. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for our broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, you can get 10% off with the code NIGHT at trendsjournal.com. And this is 1 year you're going to keep up with the trends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good weekend. The Common Man. They created Common Core to dumb down our children. They created Common Pass to track and control us. Their Commons Project to make sure the commoners own nothing. And the communist future. They see the common man as simple, unsophisticated, ordinary. But each of us has worth and dignity created in the image of God. That is what we have in common. That is what they want to take away. Their most powerful weapons are isolation, deception, intimidation. They desire to know everything about us while they hide everything from us. It's time to turn that around and expose what they want to hide. Please share the information and links you'll find at davidknightshow.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. If you can't support us financially, please keep us in your prayers. davidknightshow.com.